Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Headbangers Closet. Hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. Gonna try something new today. Shooting this here first thing in the morning, and the lighting's kind of weird, so it's gonna be a little bit darker. Just kind of see how it goes. I had the big light in here on, and there was a pretty big glare right in my face. So we're gonna try this. Got the light turned off, got the blinds open, so we'll see how it goes. See if this comes out well. Anyway, this is just gonna be like a collection update, just stuff I got in the last couple weeks to the collection, including a really cool autographed album from a show I was at last week. Let's get right to it. First things first, it's the Motley Crue Dr. Feelgood 35th anniversary. This is the Target exclusive. It's called like Zoetrope vinyl. Pretty cool. Get a picture disc right here. Very similar. In fact, it is basically the same thing as as the Iron Maiden Power Slave anniversary album that came out a while back. Really cool. You can kind of feel it. You kind of put your finger on it, kind of feel the the grooves and everything like that. But really cool, different kind of different type of thing to collect, I guess. Put in the collection. But big Motley Crue fan. This is actually probably my least favorite Motley Crue record of the classic Crue albums. This is I think the better one. This is the Walmart version. There was a couple other versions as well, but I just like these two the best. This one is on really cool white and pink splatter. Really sharp looking with the Dr. Feelgood logo right there. The sleeve with the lyrics, and it's kind of got I don't know what you call it, kind of like a reflective, I guess, maybe cover a little bit. I don't know what that's called, but anyway, it's pretty cool. Dr. Feelgood, Motley Crue's 35th anniversary, special reissue editions. Big Motley Crue fan. I remember when this thing came out, I think I was going into my freshman year of high school, actually, and my town in North Attleboro, Massachusetts got a brand new mall, so went to the mall, picked up the record. I got the cassette tape, the CD, and the vinyl. And I got rid of the vinyl within like a year because that was around the time where everything was going to CD for the most part. And I was like, well, I no longer need the vinyl. I ended up getting rid of the cassette tape like maybe 10, 15 years ago. But I wish I would have kept that record because those Dr. Feelgood OG pressings are now really difficult to replace, but glad I got this one. Like I said, it's probably my least favorite Crue record of the classic Crue albums. Awesome album. I mean, they had so many hits on this record. It was, I think, their biggest selling album, a huge tour. I just kind of prefer the other albums. So next record we have is a band that I'm not even familiar with, really. I haven't even opened it. It's Malice, License to Kill. And a friend of mine and I were having a conversation. We were actually at a record store in Opelika, Alabama. And he's like, this album is right up your alley. You should definitely give it a listen. So I listened to him. Haven't even listened to it yet, but it's Malice, License to Kill. It's basically like, I would say early 80s, kind of that traditional heavy metal, new wave of British heavy metal, but I think these guys are from America. So it's kind of like that early 80s, American metal. So I'm going to give it a listen. I actually just got this in on Wednesday, so looking forward to opening it up and giving it a listen. Next one we have is a new release for 2025. This is the latest album from Night, and it's Cult of the Serpent Sun. This is a killer album. Early contender, we're only a couple of months into 2025, but early contender for album of the year, in my opinion. It's classified as kind of like, gothic doom metal, and I don't want to say I disagree with that, because I don't, but it doesn't do the album enough justice. If you're not really into, gothic or cult doom metal, you might not give this a listen, but I think you should. Like I said, early contender for album of the year 2025, and I always try to get people into new bands that they might not have heard before, new albums they might not have heard before. And I was telling a good buddy of mine from here in town his name is Terry. He goes to all the shows with me in Atlanta. We go to Metallica shows together, just one of my best friends. And I was telling him about these guys. I was like, give this album a listen and tell me what you think. And I'm not really the best at reviews. I've mentioned that before. If you want a good review of stuff, go check out Mark at Metal Never Dies. But when I told my buddy Terry to listen to this album, he did, and he came back with a really interesting take that I'd never heard before. He says, it sounds like Ghost if Ghost had balls. And I can't argue with that. I mean, the vocals, it's like early Ghost, like first 2 Ghost records. If you dig those albums, check this out. It's a little bit more raw, a little bit more powerful in my opinion. The riffs are great, the solos are great, the vocals are great. It's just kind of a band that might have been taking what Ghost was trying to do with that first couple records and just kind of continuing on that style of path. So give these guys a listen. Night Under the Cult of the Serpent Sun. My bad. I keep on saying Under the Occult Sun. Let me put these over here. Next we have a EP from Havoc. Really killer album. It's called New Eyes. I saw these guys open up for Exodus back, I think maybe like in the fall. Song Clear. Really cool EP. It's got 2 new songs and then 2 covers. The new songs are Death is an Illusion and New Eyes. And then the cover is Commotion. I don't know who sings that one, but it's that one that was Commotion, get on. And it's that song. It's not that great. But they do a badass cover of Metallica's Eye of the Beholder. That's the last song on the EP. Really, really cool cover. One of the better Metallica covers I've heard bands doing. I've heard a lot of them, but this is really cool. Death is an Illusion and New Eyes are really killer, original tracks, new tracks from the band. Great stuff. These guys are an awesome thrash band. I've seen them now live about 4 or 5 times, and I liked, they had an EP that came out early in their career, and then they had a full length, and I really dug those, but then I kind of got off the ride. It wasn't until I saw them live the first time, maybe like 3 years ago, and since I've seen them like 2 or 3 more times after that, just always, for the most part, opening up. But when I've seen them live, they just sound so good, and they're so powerful, so heavy. They have that great attitude. Kind of reminds me, of like, early 80s thrash metal with that attitude that they have when they bring it live. So I started to give their back catalog another listen, and I've really been digging these guys the last maybe 2 to 3 years, just listening to everything they've put out. So if you haven't checked out Havoc, do so. Check out this EP. Like I said, killer cover of Eye of the Beholder from Metallica, and Death is an Illusion and New Eyes, killer new original tracks from the band. They just came out like late 2024. Next we have Heretics Breaking Point. This is a 80s. Now, to me, you guys are going to disagree, but you got to remember in the 80s, I was a younger kid, so I kind of thought this was thrash. It's really not. It's more of, new American traditional heavy metal, in my opinion, but it's got some really cool thrash elements, so I kind of characterize it as thrash. I've always dug this album. Don't really listen to much of the rest of the catalog, but I really do like this record. A lot of good riffs, catchy choruses, stuff like that. This is probably going to be included in my part 4 or 5 of my 80s thrash metal albums to check out. And, you guys might disagree that this isn't a thrash record, but to me, growing up, it kind of was. But really, really cool album. Some kind of rough shape here on Metal Blade Records. So cool stuff. Breaking Point by Heretic. Really cool 80s metal. And then last, but certainly not least, I went to see Haunt last Thursday night at the Masquerade complex of clubs in Atlanta. Been a Haunt fan for a long time. I've talked about them a bunch of times on this channel. I've worn their shirts a bunch of times doing videos. Haven't really shown too much of the albums, but that might change going forward. But love Haunt. If you guys don't know Haunt, it's pretty much Trevor Church. He's from Fresno, California. He basically writes and records all the music, plays all the instruments. Well, now he's kind of, he always had like a band that he went and toured with, just kind of getting different guys to fill in the band. But now he's basically got like a solid lineup for a band, and I think they did, this is their latest album, Dreamers, and this the band that he tours with doing the album in the studio, if I'm not mistaken. But awesome stuff from Trevor and Haunt. He's one of those guys that when he puts out a record, it's on Bandcamp, and t-shirts and merch on Bandcamp and whatnot, and when you buy it, it's the return address of his house. And just really cool guy, super nice. He runs his own Facebook group where he interacts with people, so it's not uncommon. Multiple times a day, sometimes see him post and answer fans' questions. Just really cool guy. Instagram, same thing. He'll answer questions, comment back to you. Just one of those guys you like to support. The music's really good. Just great, solid, traditional American heavy metal. It's got that old school feel with a new school's kind of spin on it as well. Just great stuff. It's one of those artists that you like to support. he keeps the prices low. The quality of the shirts, like this one's kind of tight because I got fat recently. But all the stuff's like really that nice, like slim, not slim fitting, but like lighter material, so you can wear it in the middle of the summer and you're not sweating to death in it. It's got lots of cool designs. It's for the most part, it's quick shipping, but just really cool guy to support. And I've been a fan probably since I think 2020 put out the album, I think it was Mind Freeze. And I've been a fan since then. Always missed them when they come to Atlanta. But they were coming with Hittin', which was a really cool band to check out. Guys from Spain, they really kicked ass. I was really impressed with them. Didn't really think too much of them going into the show, but really impressed with them. And then Haunt was supposed to be the headliner, but the legendary new wave of traditional heavy metal and new wave of British heavy metal band, Satan, jumped on the tour to headline. And they were really, really cool, really old guys. But they played in the new area of the Masquerade called The Altar. Really cool venue if you're in Atlanta or ever. Check it out. It's cool. New room to check out. But Haunt was awesome. They played like a greatest hits kind of set list. Had a great time. They sounded amazing. All the songs are awesome. And I've got everything they have on vinyl. And they didn't have, I should have bought the t-shirt online, but I didn't. So they didn't have any shirts for me to get with the dates on the back, which is really bummed out. So hopefully they'll have some of those on Bandcamp later on. But anyway, trying to keep this video somewhat shorter, I was able to purchase the picture disc for Dreamers, which I don't have. And Sammy, the bass player, was like, I'll sign it for you and I'll get the other 4 guys to sign it. So all 4 guys signed it. All 4 guys in the band signed it. And he brought it back to me just a couple of minutes. And what was cool is they were signing it during Satan's set. And if you know anything about Haunt, you'll know that Trevor and the guys like to hang out with fans before the show and then after the show. So as Satan was about to go on and then playing the first couple songs, I'm watching Sammy bring it around to the guys in the band while they're taking pictures with fans and whatnot, and each of them, so I could watch each one of them sign it from a distance. And then I got my picture taken with Sammy and Trevor as well. So really, really cool experience. Really like seeing those bands that are, not like so massive that there's no access to them. I'm not really big on autographs and stuff like that, but I do, if I can get a chance to get a picture with somebody, I enjoy that. So it was really cool getting my picture with those guys and then having the guys in the band sign the album cover for me. So really cool. $20, and I got a picture with Trevor and Sammy and had them all sign it. So really cool item to add to the collection. Stoked to have this. So that's it, guys. That's my video of the collection update. Hope you dig it. Looking forward to chatting with you guys soon. I am going to jump on a couple of threads here. Spring is in full swing down here in Georgia. In fact, it's almost summertime now. So I'm going to be doing the S for Spring that I watched the Northern Vinyl guys trend. And if there's any of the cool threads you guys think I need to jump on when you're doing them, just tag me in them. I'll watch the video and try to jump on those. And hopefully you guys check out the video and, appreciate everybody, tuning in. And I'll have another video for you guys very soon. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.